Salawat, please. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Caught a blank moment. Thank you. Oh my gosh. No, no. We all have friends. Some friends are closer than others. But that one friend that we consider to be maybe our brother or sister, that closeness that we have to that one person. And let's say that one person, they live very close to us. And because of this closeness of vicinity of where they live, we tend to be with them all the time. And within that time of being with them, the relationship between us grow deeper and deeper, the love deeper and deeper. Until one day our friend, he or she said that I have to move away. I can no longer live near you. I have to go to, let's say, another state. How would you feel? The average person would feel sad because they do not want their friend to leave them because they're accustomed to being around this person so much that they feel that they cannot live without them. But even though they are far, we can still be able to get in touch with them, whether through phone or maybe one day they may come back and visit us. But what if this friend that was so close to us, now they have left this world, Allah has taken their soul? How will we feel about this? This is a different type of feeling. The feeling that we had before or previously was a feeling of sadness because this person is moving far away. But this feeling that this person is no longer on this earth is totally different. It is a sadness that we have. This sadness or remorse that we have because we know that we will never be able to embrace that person or see that person or talk to that person anymore. And because of this sadness that we get from the separation that we have from that person and the sadness that we have because that person is no longer on this earth with us, we start to cry. We feel the sadness within our heart, and because of the sadness, we start to get emotional, and all of a sudden, tears start running down our face. And every time we think of this person, we start to cry. We see that crying is a natural emotion. This is an emotion in which Allah has placed in the human being. So it's natural. There's nothing wrong with crying, is it? Is Islam against crying? Are we doing something that is wrong? We find that some people said that, oh, you cannot cry. You should not cry. When you cry for the dead, it affects the soul of the dead. But then I said to myself, if that's the case, why would Allah create this emotion within the human being, this outlet when we feel sad? It is a release that comes out of us to make us feel some type of relief. And if it was something wrong with it, Allah would not have placed it in us, maybe. Then I started to think, we as followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, we cry. And people will say that, oh, you Shia, you're always crying. You'll cry too much. This is something in which Rasulullah did not do. Or did he? Did Rasulullah cry? But the way they said it said that he didn't do it. Let's look, for instance. We see an example. They said that Ibn Anas, he went to visit Rasulullah. And when he saw Rasulullah, he saw him in a state of grief. He was crying. Why was he crying? He said that his son Ibrahim was about to transition to the next world. And he has not transitioned, but the emotions had affected our beloved prophet of Allah so much that he started to cry. So when I look at this riwayah in this hadith, I said, wait a minute, what is considered to be sunnah or tradition of the prophet is something in which he have done in his lifetime that people emulate. When he does something, this means that it is a part of his tradition. If he didn't do it, then it's not a part of it. This is what I say or think. Then I start to say to myself, wait a minute, did the Prophet of Allah only cry at that moment? Because maybe that was the only time he cried. Because they might say, oh, it's a fluke, as they said. It was just something. He just did it at that time. It was never done any other time. But then I start to look and do more research and start to realize that our beloved Prophet of Allah did not do a fluke crying. No, he cried on multiple occasions. He showed his emotion. That means the tears ran down his face when things hurt his heart. When the separation of death happened to those who were close to him, he allowed the tears to run down his face. He did not say, oh, do not do this. He showed people the vulnerability of crying so they themselves will feel comfortable with crying. We find another occasion where Rasulullah cried. This occasion is when his uncle, his beloved uncle Hamza Shuhada, was martyred. We know how Rasulullah felt about his uncle. He loved his uncle like all of us do. Our uncle, he plays the part of our father when the father is not around. Rasulullah, he loved his uncle. They said that when his uncle had passed away and Rasulullah was in front of the bier of Hamza Shuhada, they said he cried. He cried so much that it was a loud cry, and to the fact they said that he fainted from the crying. That he fainted from the crying. And it was a loud cry. So I said to myself, here is an instance that he didn't cry in his house. He cried where others can see him in front of the bier of Hamza Shuhada in a loud voice till he fainted. I said, wow, subhanAllah. So when we start to think, we start to say to ourselves that, wait a minute, maybe we are the followers of the sunnah of Rasulullah. I said, no, wait, no, not maybe, we are. Because Rasulullah cried. We cried. But is it just those two things? Then I start to do more research and start to realize that Rasulullah cried on many occasions. One of the time he cried for the situation of the children of Zainab. Another time he cried because of an illness of one of his companions. So here it is. He cried on different occasions. But then they say and criticize us, yes, Rasulullah might have cried on different occasions, but did he cry for Imam Hussein? I think your Shias are taking it to the extreme. He did not cry for Imam Hussein, or they may say Hussein. Then I start to look and do more research, and I run into something in which they said that it was the time when Fatima Zahra, salamu Allahi alayha, she had just gave birth to Imam Hussein. And as they tell the story, they said Rasulullah was walking with heavy steps. And at the the time as he was walking with heavy steps, he was crying. And also he was yelling out. He said, "Oh, Asma, oh, Asma, bring me my son. Bring me my son," in a remorseful voice while he's crying. And she said, "What have this child done for the reaction that you are reacting in this way with this sorrowness?" Rasulullah said that Angel Jibril just came to me and he said that when we are gone, that this child is going to be hurt in such a way, and I do not want Fatima to know what's going to happen because it's going to hurt her, and she has just had this baby. So there is one time right there he cried for Imam Hussein. He cried. So when they said that he did not cry for Imam Hussein, I said, no, look at this. He cried for Imam Hussein. He cried for Imam Hussein. Now, the thing here is that he cried for Imam Hussein 60 plus years before the incident. The incident didn't even happen, and Rasulullah cried for him. But is this the only time in which Rasulullah cried for Imam Hussein? Was it something that just happened at that moment? Or did Rasulullah cry on multiple occasions about Imam Hussein? It was one riwayah that came out of the school of Khalifa. And they said that it was the aunt of Rasulullah. Her name was Fadl. She was, I think, Abdullah ibn Abbas. Abdullah ibn Muttalib's son. If I'm not mistaken, please don't quote that one. And she came there, she had Imam Hussein, and she placed Imam Hussein in the lap of Rasulullah. And as the hadith went on, she said she looked away like this, and when she turned back, she saw that Rasulullah was crying. Now imagine, you standing there, you just placed the baby in the lap of someone, just turn real fast. And when you turn back, this person is crying. She asked him, "What is wrong, Rasulullah? Why are you crying?" So the angel Jibril, he came and he told me what the people are going to do to my son by the Euphrates. She said, "Who? Him?" Yes, him. And they said that Jibril had reached forth and gave him some sand of Karbala, and he told her to smell it. Here it is, an instance that Rasulullah, not from our books, from other books, that explained that he cried for Imam Hussein. But wait a minute. There's more. It's not just that instant, not just that person came, but also they said that one time Imam Ali alayhi salam, he came to visit Rasulullah, and when he came to visit Rasulullah, he found him in tears. He said, "Oh Rasulullah, who hurt you?" Because this is a question in which we will ask a person. If I was to walk in the room with any one of you and I see you remorsefully crying, I would say, "Who hurt you? What is wrong? What is bothering you? Why are you crying?" This is a question that any person will ask. Even a person that they do not know, they will ask them the same thing. What is wrong? He said, "I just heard that my son is going to be martyred." And his son will be martyred. Here is four incidents right here where Rasulullah was crying for Imam Hussein. So when the Shia The followers of Ahlul Bayt, when we cried for Imam Hussein, we follow the sunnah of our beloved Rasulullah. We did not make this up. This does not come out of nowhere. This is a sunnah. This is a tradition directly from the Prophet of Allah. And he does not speak out on his own accord. But is this the only person from Ahlul Bayt that cried for Imam Hussein? We look at a personality that he is considered, how can I say, the completion of religion. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wa alayhi, when he told him about this person and he revealed the message, the Quranic verse came out and revealed that today your religion has been complete or fulfilled. Imam Ali, they said that one time he was with his companions. He was coming from the battle of Siffin. And as he was coming from the place of Siffin, they ran into a place. He asked his companion, he said, do you know where you are? His companion said, no. The Imam said, if you knew where you were, you would be crying. This is the place in which Hussein will be martyred. And then they say he started to point out everything. He starts to point out what will happen. Then they said that he saw the Imam, he started to cry. They said the Imam, he cried so much that his beard was soaked. And because his beard was so soaked, they said that the tears was running down to the chest of the Imam. So imagine how profusely crying that he was doing, that it soaked his beard, ran down his chest, and made his chest wet through the tears that he know that this is the place where they going to murder Imam Hussein. This is something that happened years before it happened. They cried for the Imam as though that they was there to see what happened. We cried for the Imam as though we was there to see what has happened. But those, they get upset with us because of our love of Ahlul Bayt, our love for Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Is there something wrong with us for crying? But this is the love of a father. Imagine the love of the mother. You know your mother and father have different types of love for you. Your father loved you once you're born. Your father loved you once you're born. But your mother is something different. Your mother loves you once she finds out she is with child. Once she found out she is with child, she will sacrifice whatever it takes to make sure that baby that is in her womb to be healthy and strong. She will give her life for this baby. She will do whatever it takes for this baby. This love for this baby starts the moment she finds out, and it continues all the way through the life of this child. So imagine if someone came to your mother and said that one day your child is going to be attacked by people and they're going to do such acts towards him that it's going to be unimaginable. Imagine how your mother would feel. The emotions that your mother would have once she hear this. And then they would say, but you will not be there. She will feel hopeless. She would feel hopeless. They said that Rasulullah told his beloved Fatima about what is going to happen to her beloved son, Imam Hussein. He said that they will take his life, basically. They said that when she heard it, she started to cry. She said, who will be there to help him? Imam Hussein. Rasulullah said to her, neither me nor you nor Imam Ali or Ali will not be there to help him. She said, so who is going to mourn him? He said that the women going to mourn the women of Ahl Bayt, and the men is going to mourn the men of Ahl Bayt. Then Rasulullah, he go on, he said, and this will go on for generation after generation after generation. Year after year after year. Every year they will renew the incident that will happen to Imam Hussein. And we sit here and we are amongst those that after generation after generation, after year, we renew what had happened to Imam Hussein, so no one will be able to forget that the love of Imam Hussein and Ahl Bayt will be in the hearts of not only ourselves, but our children's children. For generation after generation after generation after year after year. Then Rasulullah, he said to Fatima, he said, on the day of judgment, you will intercede for the women and I will intercede for the men. He's talking about those who renew the story of Imam Hussein. Then Rasulullah, he goes on and he says that whoever does this, I will take them by the hand and I will force them into the paradise. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. He will force them into the paradise. This is something in which he said he would do. So we look at this. We start to say, okay, here it is. Rasulullah, Imam Ali, Fatima Zahra. Is there anyone else that mourned Imam Hussein? Then we start to look at another personality that actually was there at the time of this massacre of Imam Hussein. And we see that as Imam Zainul Abidin. It was so, they said that the one who constantly cried. People were so afraid that they thought he would kill himself for all the crying. But he was the one that made sure that we remember Imam Hussein. It would be times that he would be, say, walking and he would see somebody about to slaughter an animal. He would say, what did you do? Or what do you do before you slaughter this animal? The person would be like, I don't know. He said, is it recommended to give this animal water before you slaughter him? Then he would start to explain to them that on the plains of Karbala, they would not even give my father and the children water, but yet it is highly recommended that before you slaughter this animal, that you must give this animal water. Then he starts to explain that when you cut the neck of the animal, do the knife have to be sharp? He said, yes. So the animal would not feel any pain. Then he started to say that on the plains of Karbala, the knife in which Shimmerlat and Allah used on my father was so dull. And how he stood over him and he went back and forth with this blade to sever the holy neck of our beloved Imam. They treated the Imam less than an animal. And he started to cry and show people the emotions of this. And it's not like people didn't know who the Imam was, because the one who had did it knew exactly who the Imam was. Then we start to look at this and we say, okay, here it is. People from Akla Bayt, they cried for the Imam. But who else cried for the Imam? The other people around them cried for the Imam? Was it just Rasulullah? Was it just Imam Ali? Was it just Fatima? Was it just Imam Zainal Abidin? What about the people that was considered Sahaba of Rasulullah? Did they cry? Or how about those who was considered wife of Rasulullah? Did she cry? They said that Salama, Rasulullah had gave her somewhat sand, earth from Karbala, and told her that when this turns red, they martyr. They said that when she saw the earth turn red, she said, I cannot believe they did it, and she started to cry for Imam Hussein. She started to cry. So is it just that? I found that there is other companions in which who cried for Imam Hussein. I couldn't remember them, so I had to write them down, so please forgive me. Because they didn't just, only them, they didn't know, but everybody basically cried for Imam Hussein. We find that Ibn Abbas, he cried for Imam Hussein. They said that after Al-Hussein got killed, Abdullah ibn Abbas constantly cried for him until his eyes became blind. He cried. That means he cried profusely over and over till he became blind, that he had lost his vision over the sadness and the tears that ran through his eyes, down his face for Imam Hussein. Another one, they said that Anas ibn Malik cried for Imam Hussein. They said when the blessed head of Imam Hussein ibn Ali was brought to Ibn Ziyad, he put it in a basin and started to hitting the Imam's teeth with a wooden stick in his hand while saying, I have never seen a teeth this beautiful. Anas was in his company and he started crying and he said, of all the people, Al-Hussein is the one who resembled the Holy Prophet the most. Another one is Zayd ibn Arqam. He cried for Imam Hussein. They said that Ibn Abi al-Dunya recounts a hadith that Zayd ibn Arqam, we know that Zayd ibn Arqam, he quotes a lot of Sunni hadith, especially in Sahih Muslim, Sahih Bukhari, and stuff like that. He actually quote, if I'm not mistaken, a hadith of Thaqalain and all these things in the books of Sahih Sittah. Mind you, these people are from the school of the Khalifa. These are not followers of Ahl Bayt that these hadiths are from. Then Abi al-Dunya recounts a hadith that Zayd ibn Arqam was in the presence of Ibn Ziyad. He said to him, take your wooden stick away. I swear upon Allah, I have countless times seen the Prophet of Allah kiss those two lips of Imam Hussein. Then Zayd Arqam started crying. So when we look at the crying from us, it's not just something in which we only done. It was something that people that was not considered followers of Ahl Bayt, when they heard what had happened to Imam Hussein, they themselves cried. I remember a hadith that one of the wives of the Rasul, of the Prophet of Allah, he was crying. And she said, oh, you cry for that boy. He said, this boy is the apple of my heart. She spoke bad about him as though it was something wrong about Rasulullah crying for this child. And Rasulullah quickly put her in her place, said, he is the apple of my heart. The core of my heart. So when we think about crying, we realize that crying is the sunnah of Rasulullah, and what we do is practicing the sunnah of Rasulullah. So when someone try to criticize us, because as youth people always try to criticize us and say, oh, you are bid'ah, budu. No, sunnah of Rasulullah, because he cried and we cried just like him for Imam Hussein, and we should be proud of it. May Allah help us all. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wal asr. Innal insana lafi khusr. إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر وآخر دعوانا والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة على محمد وآله الطاهرين.